Let me make sure I'm ready for this video real quick. Got my notes, check. Pepsi, check. Sunglasses, check. Hat, check. And yes, thick skin, check. Let's go. Welcome to Golden Bluted, everybody. If you are a college football fan, please go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button because that's all we do here. Videos every single day. And when you get a chance, go check out our Patreon page. We have a lot of great perks over there. We call our Patreons the shot callers because they call the shots around here. Remember, $5 and up Patreons will get to decide the game that we're going to live stream in the regular season, and you'll get to watch with me, Golden Bluted. And our score prediction contest will be coming back. Every week I'll pick out a game, and my Patreons will pick the score, and whoever comes close to the score wins $20. And you can win as many times as you want. That's right. I'm wearing these ridiculous looking glasses because I can't find my normal glasses. And why do I wear sunglasses anyways? Well, because of my lighting, and it helps me read better. Can't wait to see the comments on this one because I know it's going to be lit up. We all know that the Pac-12 needs help right now, desperately, to be relevant. They haven't been to the playoffs in a very long time. In fact, overall, they've only been to the playoffs twice. That is not good. A lot of people are thinking that Lincoln Riley is the answer to the Pac-12 troubles. And in the long term, he could be. But what about this year? Is there an answer for the Pac-12 to get to the playoffs this year? I think there is, but I don't think it's Lincoln Riley, and I don't think it's USC. First, let's look at the past 3 years. Look at the troubles that the Pac-12 has been having. Now, in 2018, these were the best teams, starting with Washington, who was 10-4, and Washington State, who was 11-2, but they had some costly losses with those two losses. And there was Stanford, who was 9-4. Oregon was 9-4 that year. And then there was Utah, who was 9-5. But none of those teams could get through the season with just one loss or go undefeated. And that's been the running story of the Pac-12. So now on to 2019, the best teams. Oregon, 12-2, pretty good year, but not good enough to get to the playoffs. Utah, 11-3, also pretty good year, but not good enough to get to the playoffs. USC, 8-5. Arizona State, also 8-5. Washington had a good year that year, 8-5. And then there was Cal. They had a decent year, 8-5. So Oregon probably had the best shot, but still, 2 losses, not going to do it. I'm going to skip 2020 because that was a COVID year. The Pac-12 didn't play that many games at all. So fast forward to 2021. Looks like the Pac-12 actually took a step back last year because here's your best teams. Utah, the Pac-12 champs, 10-4. Then Oregon, also 10-4. So your 2 best teams just had 10 wins. That's it. Nothing more. And then there was UCLA, 8-4. Arizona State, 8-5. And then there's a drop-off because Washington State was 7-6. And then Oregon State, also 7-6. So the Pac-12 North was absolute garbage last year. And Oregon could still only manage 10-4. What about this year? Who has the best chance of breaking the streak and getting the Pac-12 to the playoffs? The answer might surprise you. I'm being serious. The answer might surprise you. I think there's 4 candidates. Of course, there's Oregon. They're the talk of the Pac-12 year after year after year. There's Utah, who's been building and won the Pac-12 last year. Then, of course, there's USC, the talk of the town right now because of Lincoln Riley. But then there's another team that people are not talking about, and I have no idea why. High-profile coach and recruiting at a good level. UCLA's been getting better and better under this head coach. I'm talking about UCLA under Chip Kelly. Why people are not talking about him and UCLA, I have no idea. They are going to be a force in the Pac-12. But out of these 4, who has the best shot of ending the playoff drought for the Pac-12 and getting them to the playoffs? Well, we have to look at their schedule. That's the main thing about this. Can a Pac-12 team get through their schedule with 1 loss or go undefeated? So first, let's look at Oregon, who's been the face of the Pac-12 over the past few years. Well, it's not a good start. They get Georgia in Atlanta, and I do think that's a loss. But I will say this, if somehow Oregon can pull off the upset like they did last year against Ohio State, I do think Oregon has a pretty good shot of getting through the regular season with just 1 loss or maybe go undefeated. But, they could upset Georgia just like they upset Ohio State last year and drop the ball again because that's exactly what they did last year. They beat Ohio State. They were the talk of the playoff committee saying, we really think these guys are going to get in. And then they dropped games that people were like, why did you lose those games? So after that game, even if they do beat Georgia, get FCS Eastern Washington at home. That's an easy win. They get BYU at home. Now, this is a 50-50 football game. Very losable. BYU's really good. So you have to get through BYU. Then you have to go on the road to Washington State, who will be a bowl team. That's a 50-50 game. hostile road environment, not a gimme win. Then you get Stanford at home. Stanford is tricky, but it is at home. I think you win that. At Arizona, they're going to be better, but not that much better. Then you get your bye week. Then you get UCLA at home. This is going to be a tough game. 50-50 football game. Most definitely losable. Then you get at Cal. I think Cal will be better, but that shouldn't be a problem. Then you get at Colorado. Colorado's not going to be any good. That shouldn't be a problem. Then you get Washington, who will be better, but it is at home. Shouldn't be a problem. Then you get Utah at home. And Utah's been a big problem for Oregon recently. But at least it's at home, so that gives you a chance to beat Utah. And then after that, on the road to Oregon State, rivalry game. And Oregon State will be a bowl team this year. 50-50 football game. So it is most definitely not guaranteed that Oregon's going to make the playoffs, even if they do beat Georgia in that first game. It's a very tricky schedule. Now let's talk about Utah. They just won the Pac-12. What are their chances of getting to the playoffs? Well, you start off with a tough road trip to Florida. Another SEC game to start off for a Pac-12 team. But if you can get through that with the win, what does the rest of your schedule look like? Well, you get FCS Southern Utah at home, gimme win. San Diego State, that could be tricky, but it is at home. That should be a win. At Arizona State's going to fall off a cliff. That's actually an easy win. Oregon State, but it is at home, so I expect you to win that game. Then on the road to UCLA. I actually think that this is a loss for Utah. Yes, technically 50-50, but it's on the road. UCLA is going to be really good. I think it's a loss, Utah. Then right after that, you get the talk of the town, USC at home. That's a 50-50 football game, but it's most definitely winnable. After that, you get a bye week. Then on the road to a bowl team, Washington State, a hostile road environment, 50-50 football game. That is most definitely losable. Then you get Arizona at home. Should be an easy win. Tricky Stanford, but it is at home. Then on the road to Oregon, I do think you lose on the road to Oregon this year. However, you've had Oregon's number, so that's most definitely a winnable game. It's just tricky being on the road. And then finally at Colorado, no issues there. So even for Utah, getting through that first road trip for Florida, there's a lot of potential pitfalls after that. In fact, I think there's 2 for sure losses at UCLA and at Oregon, and that right there alone will knock you out of the playoffs. Now on for Cinderella. Terrible last year, 4-8. This year, everybody thinks they're going to be much better, including myself. And that's USC because of Lincoln Riley. Let's look at their schedule first. We know they did well in the transfer portal, but the schedule matters. They actually start off with a cupcake game. It's actually pretty smart, USC. Rice at home, that's a win. Then a tricky road trip to Stanford. Stanford upset USC last year at USC, but I didn't think it was an upset. I had Stanford all the way. This time it's on the road, but I do think USC will go into this game focused. 50-50, but I do expect USC to win this. Then Fresno State at home. That's not a gimme game as well. 50-50. Fresno State's good, but it is at home. So I expect USC to win that game. Then at Oregon State, Oregon State's going to be a bowl team, and Oregon State beat USC last year. Once again, I expect USC to win. That's a losable game. Then you get an Arizona State team who's going to fall off a cliff at home. That's easy. Washington State at home is going to be a bowl, but it's at home. Should be a win, USC. Then on the road to Utah, I think this is a loss. Plain and simple. Mark it down, USC. This is a loss. But after that, you get a bye week on the road to Arizona, who will be better. Should be a win, though. Then you get Cal at home. That also should be a win for USC. Then you get Colorado, a terrible Colorado at home. Easy win right there. And after that, on the road to your crosstown rival, UCLA. And I have this penciled in as a loss for USC. Still technically a 50-50 football game, but I think USC is going to lose that game. And then finally, you end the year with a home game against rival Notre Dame. And I expect USC to win that game. But still, that's still 10-2, not getting to the playoffs. And there's still some pitfalls in there that you could slip up on and not even get to a 10-win season. I don't think USC is the answer for this year. And then there's UCLA, the one team that people are not talking about in the Pac-12. And I think they could be the best team in the Pac-12 this year. Great coach, recruiting at a good level, especially for UCLA. A lot of seniors on this team, a lot of talent from last year coming back this year. I think this is a perfect combo for UCLA to make their move this year. But there's the schedule. How does their schedule set up? Well, they start off the season with a cupcake. Pretty smart, UCLA. Bowling Green at home. That's easy win. Then you get FCS Alabama State. Building confidence. Easy win. Group of 5 team South Alabama at home. Building more confidence. That's a win. Then a road trip, but it's to Colorado, and Colorado is going to be bad. That's a win for UCLA. Building up the confidence. Then you get Washington at home. Washington will be better, but it's at home. That's a win. So the confidence is sky high right now, and that's where you get Utah at home. And no, I don't have this penciled in as a win or a loss. It's 50-50, but I do think UCLA will win this game, and it will be a big win for UCLA. Then you get your bye week, then a road trip to Oregon. This could decide whether UCLA goes to the playoffs or not. This is a winnable game, but it's on the road, and I think they will lose this. But if they can somehow win that game, I think UCLA will most definitely make the playoffs. Golden Blue Dude is talking about UCLA making the playoffs. Yes, but it hinges on some key games, and that's one of them. Then you get Stanford at home, a tricky Stanford, but I think you win that. Then on the road to an Arizona State who's going to fall off a cliff, should be an easy win. Arizona at home should be an easy win. Crosstown rival USC at home, 50-50 football game, but I think UCLA will win this game. And then finally on the road to Cal, might be tricky, but I think UCLA is good enough to win comfortably on the road to Cal. So UCLA's season hinges on two games, the road trip to Oregon, then the home game against USC. If they can simply split those and win the Pac-12, UCLA could make the playoffs. And no, I am not predicting them to make the playoffs. I'm saying they can, and it depends on those two games, and they have to win the Pac-12. So out of the teams that I think will be the top 4 in the Pac-12, I actually think that UCLA has the best chances of ending the streak for the Pac-12 this year because of the schedule and because of Chip Kelly and how well he's recruiting, and they have a lot of seniors on this team. I know that's a shocker, but that's what makes sense to me. So y'all let me know in the comments section, who do you think has the best shot this year of ending the Pac-12 streak of getting to the playoffs? That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.